Peekaboo! Time for Superfudge. Teacher Susan here. I'm very excited to read Superfudge to you today. I'm going to start with chapter 1, just so you get an idea of what's happening in the story. There are 12 chapters in Superfudge by Judy Blume, and I'm going to read a little excerpt from the back. Sometimes on the back of the stories, well, you know this anyway, they tell a little bit about the story. So let's see what Superfudge is all about. One fudge is enough. Farley Drexel Hatcher, otherwise known as Fudge, thinks he's a superhero, but his older brother, Peter, knows Fudge is nothing but a pain. Dealing with Fudge is hard enough, but now Peter's parents have decided to move to New Jersey. What? For an entire year. Even worse, Peter's mom is going to have a new baby. And if this baby is anything like Fudge, help. How will Peter survive? Well, my guess is that Peter will survive. He can be a little dramatic, but I totally get where he's coming from. So we're going to start with chapter 1. And as I'm reading, again, like we've done previous times, if you want to jot down some thoughts, some words that pop out in your head as your movie is is working in your mind, or you can draw it. And there also may be some things in here for those of you who have siblings that you can totally relate to. So let's see. Chapter 1 is called, Guess What, Peter? Here we go. Life was going along okay when my mother and father dropped the news. Bam! Just like that. We have something wonderful to tell you, Peter, Mom said after dinner. Before dinner, she was slicing carrots into the salad bowl. I grabbed one. What is it? I asked. I figured maybe my father's been made president of the company, or maybe my teacher phoned saying that even though I don't get the best grades in 5th grade, I am definitely the smartest kid in the class. We're going to have a baby, Mom said. We're going to what? I asked, starting to choke. Dad had to whack me on the back. Tiny pieces of chewed up carrots flew out of my mouth and hit the counter. Mom wiped them with a sponge. Have a baby, Dad said. You mean you're pregnant? I asked Mom. That's right, she told me, patting her middle. Almost 4 months. 4 months? You've known for 4 months and you didn't tell me? We wanted to be sure, Dad said. It took you 4 months to be sure? I saw the doctor for the 2nd time today, Mom said. The baby's due in February. She reached over and tried to tussle my hair. I'm talking to tussle your hair virtually. I ducked and got out of the way before she could touch me. Dad took the lid off the pot of the stove and stirred up the stew. Mom went back to slicing carrots. You'd have thought we were discussing the weather. Dad, oh, how could you, I shouted. How could you? Isn't one enough? They both stopped and looked at me. I kept right on shouting. Another fudge? Just what this family needs. I turned and stormed down the hall. Fudge, my 4-year-old brother, was in the living room. He was shoving crackers into his mouth and laughing like a loon at Sesame Street on TV. I looked at him and thought about having to go through it all over again. The kicking and the screaming and the messes and more. Much, much more. I felt so angry, I kicked the wall. Fudge turned. Hi, Peter, he said. You are the biggest pain ever invented, I yelled, and he tossed a handful of crackers at me. I raced to my room and I slammed the door so hard my map of the world fell off the wall and landed on my bed. My dog, Turtle, barked. I opened the door just enough to let him squeeze through, then slammed it shut again. I pulled my Adidas bag out of the closet and emptied 2 dresser drawers into it. Another fudge, I said to myself. They're going to have another fudge. There was a knock on my door, and Dad called, Peter. Go away, I told him. I'd like to talk to you, he said. About what? As if I didn't know. The baby. What baby? You know what baby. We don't need another baby. Need it or not, it's coming, Dad said. So you might as well get used to the idea. Never. We'll talk about it later, Dad said. In the meantime, scrub up. It's time for dinner. I'm not hungry. I zipped up my bag, grabbed my jacket, and opened my bedroom door. No one was there. I marched down the hall and found my parents in the kitchen. I'm leaving, I announced. I'm not going to hang around waiting for another Fudge to get born. Goodbye. I didn't move. I just stood there, waiting to see what they'd do next. Where are you going? Mom asked. She took 4 plates out of the cabinet and she handed them to Dad. To Jimmy Fargo's, I said, although until the moment I hadn't really thought about where I was going to go. They have a 1-room bedroom apartment, Mom said. You'd be very crowded. Then I'll go to Grandma's. She'll be happy to have me. Grandma's in Boston for a week visiting Aunt Linda. Oh. So why don't you scrub up and have your dinner, and then you can decide where you want to go, Mom said. What a parent move that was. I didn't want to admit that I was hungry, but I was. And all those good smells coming from the pots and pans on the stove were making my stomach rumble. So I dropped my Adidas bag and I went down the hall to the bathroom. Fudge was in the sink. He stood on a stool, lathering up his hands in 3 inches of suds. Hello, you must be Bert, he said in his best Sesame Street voice. My name is Ernie. Glad to meet you. He offered him one of his sudsy little hands. Roll up your sleeves, I told him. You're making a mess. Mess, mess, mess. I love to make a mess, he sang. We know, I told him. I ran my hands under the faucet and dried them on my jeans. When we got to the table, Fudge arranged himself in his chair. Since he refuses to sit in the booster seat, he has to kneel so that he can reach his place at the table. Peter didn't scrub. He said he only rinsed. Why, you little, I started to say, but Fudge was always yapping away at my father. Hello, I'm Bert. You must be Ernie. That's right, my father said, playing along with him. How are you, Bert? Well, I'll tell you, Fudge said. My liver's turning green and my toenails are falling off. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Bert, my father said. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Yes, maybe. I shook my head and piled some mashed potatoes on my plate. Then I drowned them in gravy. Ooh, yum. Remember when we took Fudge to hamburger heaven, I said, and he smeared the mashed potatoes all over the wall? I remember that one. I did that? Fudge asked, suddenly interested. Yes, I told him, and you dumped a plate of peas on your head, too. My mother started to laugh. I'd forgotten all about that. Too bad you didn't remember before you decided to have another baby, I said. Baby? Fudge asked. My mother and father looked at each other. I got the message. They hadn't told Fudge the good news yet. Yes, Mom said, we're going to have a baby. Tomorrow? Fudge asked. No, not tomorrow, Mom said. When? Fudge asked. February, Dad said. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, Fudge recited. Okay, I said, we all know how smart you are. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Enough, I said. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, R, B, Y, Z. Will somebody please turn him off? I said. Fudge was quiet for a few minutes. Then he said, what kind of new baby will it be? Well, let's hope it's not like you, I said. Why not? I was a good baby, wasn't I, Mommy? You were an interesting baby, Fudgy, Mom said. See, I was an interesting baby, he said to me. And Peter was a sweet baby, Mom said. He was very quiet. Lucky you had me first, I said to Mom, or you might not have had any more kids. Was I a quiet baby too? Fudge asked. Well, I wouldn't say that, Dad said. I went to see the baby, Fudge said. You will? When? Now. I want to see the baby now. You can't see it now, Dad said. Why not? Fudge asked. Because it's inside me, Mom told him. Oh, here it comes, I thought, the big question when I asked it. I got a book called How Babies Are Made. I wondered what Mom and Dad would say to Fudge. But Fudge didn't ask. Instead, he banged a spoon against the plate and howled, I want to see the baby. I want to see the baby now. You'll have to wait until February, Dad said, just like the rest of us. No, now, Fudge screamed. Oh, another 5 years of this, I thought. Maybe even more. And who's to say that they aren't going to keep on having babies, one after the other? Excuse me, I said, getting from the table. I went to the kitchen and grabbed my Adidas bag. Then I stood in the doorway and called, well, I better be on my way. I sort of waved goodbye. Where's Peter going? Fudge asked. I'm running away, I told him, but I'll come back to visit. Like someday. No, Peter, don't go. Fudge jumped off the chair and ran to me. He grabbed my legs and started bawling. Peter, take me with you. I tried to shake him off my leg, but I couldn't. He can be really strong. I looked at my mother and father. Then I looked down at Fudge, who gave me the same look as Turtle when he's begging for a biscuit. If only I knew for sure what the baby would be like, I said. Take a chance, Peter, Dad said. The baby won't necessarily be anything like Fudge. But it won't necessarily not be like him either, I answered. Fudge tugged at my leg. I want an interesting baby, he said, like me. I sighed. If you think it's going to sleep in my room, you're crazy, I told Mom and Dad. The baby will sleep in here, Mom said, in the dining room. Then where will we eat? Oh, we'll think of something, Mom said. I put my Adidas bag down and I tried shaking Fudge off one more time. If I don't like it, I'm leaving. Me too, Fudge said. Sam got a new baby and it smells. He held up his nose. Ew. Who wants dessert? Dad asked. It's vanilla pudding. Oh, I do, Fudge yelped. And he let go of my leg and climbed up into his chair. Peter, Dad asked. Sure, why not? And I sat down at the table too. Mom reached over and tousled my hair. This time, I let her. So, a new baby's coming into Peter's life. That should be interesting. I wonder how Fudge is going to react. So many questions, so many things to ponder and predict. So the next chapter is called Coochie Coochie Coo. That's chapter 2. And we will read that another day. So I hope you enjoyed Superfudge. First chapter. It's kind of funny. Be interesting to see what happens. Now on the back, that says they were moved to New Jersey. So that obviously has not been introduced yet into the story. But we do know that a new baby's coming. And that maybe it'll be an interesting one like Fudgy. Or maybe a quiet one like Peter. What were you like when you were little? Were you quiet? Were you loud? Did you have lots of tantrums? Did you scream and cry? Or were you sweet and kind and just looked adorable? Probably like that one, I would think. So anyway, you guys have a good day. And I will see you another time. Bye.